Alright, good morning everyone, and welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing today? What is up, And welcome to my final consecutive streaming day of the week. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of October, 2021. The countdown to Halloween is upon us, folks. Less than a week now until my Halloween marathon event this coming Sunday, which should be pretty fun and exciting. I hope you guys are gearing up for it, okay? And so, the schedule and the gaming landscape is starting to come into view here. It's been a little uncertain this last week exactly what I would be playing and what I would be doing, leading up into November, because I didn't know what was going to happen with the current games that I was playing. The good news is now we kind of have a much better picture of that. It looks like Back 4 Blood, for all intents and purposes, is done. Alan Wake is going to conclude after one more stream, and Super Monkey Ball, arguably within 1 to 2 more streams, will also be done. And with that being said, that means that there are opportunities for us to shift the schedule around a little bit, shuffle the games up a bit, and potentially play a new game before the new releases start to come out in November. Okay? So we're going to talk about that today on this very pre-stream. In fact, hold on, because people are like, well, I don't know, people are like, what's going on? Phil doesn't have the camera on. You're right, I forgot to set it up. Hold on. We can do that. My bad. Unlike the rumors, I actually do not sit here in the nude on pre-stream. Some people thought that maybe I put clothes on after pre-stream's over, and that's why I never had the face cam on for pre-streams. They were like, oh, Phil's in the nude. That's why. And then he puts... Yes, of course. As you know, I'm a late starter. No, I just forgot to turn the camera on today. So yeah, because we have gotten pretty far in a lot of the games that I'm playing now, and the playthroughs are essentially either over or we're in the home stretch, it basically means that I am able to start up some new stuff. We're going to talk about that this morning because I'm curious what you guys would want me to do if I have about a week, let's say, to play a game, and it means I could maybe play it 2-3 times tops within that week. What game would you want to see me play? We have 2 major options, okay? 2 major options of games that you guys can choose for a game for me to play before the new releases start in November. We'll talk about that in a moment. Also, we've got some gaming news to talk about today that's pretty damn funny in my opinion. Like, some mornings I report the news and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is something that's intriguing for the streams. Today I basically just have follow-up stories that are absolutely hilarious. That I would love to talk to you about because I just find it really, really funny that this is the case with these 2 particular things. And I have a little bit of an opinion piece, I would say, to give to you guys in regards to the upcoming release of Halo Infinite. So I have a few things to talk about this morning. Alright, so gear yourself up for a nice lengthy 3.5-hour pre-stream because we've got lots of topics to talk about today. And I know that many of you tune in just to hear me talk on the pre-stream, and then you leave and don't stick around for the gameplay. So I've prepared a very meaty, lengthy pre-stream for you today. Buckle in. I hope that you brought like a 4-course meal to eat. I hope that you don't have to use the bathroom because there will be no opportunity for you to take a break during this pre-stream. Alright. Very nice. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let's talk schedule, so that way you guys know what's going on. And actually, what I'll do is I'll open the schedule here because I'm very curious to see what we end up doing in this next week. So here's the deal. Today, we're continuing on with Far Cry 6. It's the only time I've had a chance to play Far Cry 6 the whole freaking week. That's disappointing to me. When I'm in the midst of a busy gaming season like now, and there's new releases, and I only get to play them once a week, I'm like, that sucks. I know there's people who like the Far Cry 6 playthrough. They want to see it continue. They're like, where the hell is the game? I know. I hear you. Right now, my schedule is kind of all over the place, because it's reliant on my wife's work schedule, and when my wife's work schedule fluctuates, as it has the past couple of weeks, some weeks I'm here 7 streaming days. Some weeks I'm only here 5 streaming days. This was a week where I was only here 5. Next week, I'll be here 7. So during the shorter weeks, it seems like the week flies by and I don't have time to play certain games, and I hear you. I understand that some people are like, it's disappointing. What happened? You only played it one time this week, all right? Next week, I promise you, there'll be a lot more Far Cry 6. and a lot more progress in the game, which is good, obviously, because we want to make progress. It's going to be a lengthy playthrough. But we're doing it today. 3+ hours of Far Cry 6 Advancement. We're currently in the second of 3 major locations on the island. We've been doing a lot of questing for them. We already paid off, what was his name, Paulo, I forget his name. His debt is now done. So that plot line's done. And we were liberating people who had been captured by this dictator regime. And we did a bunch of that. And I'm trying to remember what the next mission is, because it's been so long. It's been like a week since I played it. I can't even remember what the next level of mission is that we're doing. But I get the feeling we're probably about halfway through. We're probably about halfway through this plot line, this area of the island. Maybe 1 to 2 more streams, and then that'll be completed, and then we'll head on to the third and final major plot line of the island. And I think once all the plot lines are done, then there's like the big finale. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes today. Usually the game is pretty chill fun, open world roaming, but also doing a lot of missions. And the thing is, at this point in Far Cry 6, I've gotten a lot of really good weapons. I got a rocket launcher that takes out choppers. I've got a really good M1, what is it called? Grand or Garand, however you pronounce it. I don't even know. But it's really good at range. And I've got some pretty good up-close weapons, 2 different stealth weapons now, a regular bow and the hydraulic crossbow. So I'm pretty much locked and loaded with what I need to succeed in the game. It's just a matter of going through the motions and getting through the missions, okay? So, I am excited. I am definitely excited to see how today goes, and I hope you guys are ready for a chill, interactive stream, and I mean that. Like, the buy-in for a game like this is, yes, I understand it's open world. Some of it can be tedious, but if we have an interactive stream where we talk and have a good time together, it's going to end up being way more entertaining, okay? Now, later tonight is the continuation of Lost Judgment on the late stream. That's going to be fun because we're heading back to Ichinjo, and that means that, number one, we're heading back to the school for story purposes, but also we can check in on the clubs. I think there's another side mission that unlocked at the school. So there'll be a mix of content tonight in the Lost Judgment stream where it'll be probably some side content, some story development, depending on how things go. I'm really liking the playthrough. At this point, we're in Chapter 6. We're taking our sweet time with this one because it's so much content and it's such a fun playthrough. I hope you'll join me for that later tonight. Tomorrow, I'm off from streaming, okay? So I hope that no matter what you do tomorrow, you have a good day. Please stay safe. If you would like, you can always get caught up on all of this fun stuff, okay? And, you know, I've had so many playthroughs going on at this point that I hope that you will get caught up with them when you have a chance on demand here on DSP Gaming. And I will say this. If you're someone who watches my videos here on DSP Gaming on demand only, if you're not on the live streams, but you watch the videos on demand, first of all, thank you for the ongoing viewership and the ongoing support. But please understand that, especially right now, I'm in the midst of a lot of playthroughs where those videos are all getting claimed. Almost the entirety of the Alan Wake playthrough has been claimed. I made nothing on that. A lot of these Far Cry 6 videos are getting claimed because of the licensed music in the game. I'm not making anything on that. Basically, the era of, oh, I watch Phil and there's ads, and he makes a living on the ads. That's long, long gone, okay? Even now, this time of year, when there's an increased amount of ads on YouTube, a lot of those ads you're seeing are not mine, okay? Please, if you're liking what I'm doing, please support the content. Right now, if you're watching this pre-stream and you're like, wow, I like that Phil now puts on his face cam for pre-stream. This is a good improvement. Check the description of the video. Please consider contributing via one of those methods, whether it be pledging to my Patreon, sending a tip, you know, whenever you feel like it. Any of those things help a ton. Become a channel member. You don't even have to watch the live streams to get a benefit from being a channel member. Channel members get so many benefits, like, for example, nominating, voting on things for special events. Members get priority for that, you know? So please consider it, and thank you to those who do. I know that there are people who watch the on-demand videos who do support the channel as well, so thank you for that. Okay. Now, when I come back on Thursday, this is when it's going to get interesting. Because now, this week, we're going to see a bunch of concluding playthroughs, which is then going to lead me to have some time to do some different stuff. So on Thursday, October 28th, Alan Wake Remastered is going to conclude. We're going to be playing the Rider DLC. As I remembered, these DLCs were only 2 to 3 hours long. If I remember, the Rider DLC is the longest and most challenging, grindy DLC, the hardest part of the game. We're going to get through it on Thursday and conclude the playthrough, okay? Now, some people have said, hey, Phil, since you like Alan Wake Remastered so much, are you going to go play the Control DLC that featured Alan Wake and had a crossover tie-in between the two games and basically was kind of the prequel lead into Alan Wake 2? No, I'm not going to do that right now. I may do that eventually, but I'm not going to do that right now. We have done enough Alan Wake in the last few weeks. We don't need more Alan Wake right now. What I would say is, as we prepare for the impending release of Alan Wake 2, which it sounds like Remedy is actually doing. It sounds like they've gotten the rights back to the game and they're working on Alan Wake 2. When we get information about Alan Wake 2, then I would consider going and doing that. I owned Control digitally, the entire Season Pass version, which I think included the DLC that had Alan Wake in it, so I could go play that whenever I want, but we're going to hold off and we're not going to do that immediately. Okay? Fair enough? Okay, good. Now, Thursday night, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania's probable conclusion. Here's why I say that. It's very likely Thursday night we're going to finish the story of Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Now, I've already had a couple people since last night's stream who contacted me behind the scenes and said, well, here's the deal. Once you beat the story, now there's challenge modes that open up, and you can play all the levels from Super Monkey Ball 1, which you have not even played, because apparently they weren't even available yet. So you could do all that, and then there's also Super Monkey Ball 2 challenge run, and apparently this is actually, the stages are not as hard, but it's actually more challenging because you have to complete all the stages in like one run or something. From what I understand, like, you pick one monkey, you have to stick with that monkey for a series of stages, and then you have to play through those stages with that monkey and complete them all back to back, and if you don't, it restarts from the beginning. Huh? I think what I might want to do, I might want to definitely check it out and see what it is. That doesn't sound too appealing to me. I'm just being honest here. That sounds like if you are an insane expert and you absolutely want to monstrously challenge yourself to Super Monkey Ball stuff, you would do this. But that doesn't sound like something that, to me, as a casual guy, I've never really focused on the series. This is the first time I've ever had exposure to the franchise. I've enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I've really enjoyed playing the game. And I'm very happy that you guys asked me to play this and get me exposure to the franchise. Really, another IP that I knew nothing about, and now I know exactly what it is, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. But basically, to me, you know, I'm looking at it and I'm like, is that really something that I want to do? Especially now, during this busiest of gaming seasons, right? When people want me to play other games that I've now got on hold and I haven't even gotten around to playing yet. Should I continue to play Super Monkey Ball? You know, what I'm almost thinking is, on Thursday night, let's finish the story. Hopefully I can. There's only like 5 stages left. Let's finish the story. Let's see what this challenge mode is as it opens up and maybe even try it out. All right. And then what I'm thinking is, depending on how it goes, maybe we'll either say goodbye to Super Monkey Ball forever or pause Super Monkey Ball. And maybe we'll come back to it. Right now, there's a situation where a lot of games are like that. Like Hades, I completed the story and I said, let's maybe consider coming back to Hades at a later date because I really enjoyed the game and people really liked the late night streams of Hades, but I played it for a long time. Let's get to the new games, right? Same thing here with Super Monkey Ball. I've been playing this now for, 3 weeks, a month? Let's put it on pause possibly. If people want to see me bring it back as a late night stream later, I always can, but I think I should focus in on newer stuff, you know? So anyway, all intents and purposes, Thursday night, we'll see how Monkey Ball is going to end in the campaign, and then we'll go from there. We'll figure out what we're going to do with the game moving forward. Fair enough? Okay. On Friday, it's going to be more Far Cry 6. So the continuation of Far Cry 6 on Friday. And then my weekly throwback Street Fighter session on the late night stream. On Saturday, we're doing stuff differently. And this is what I like, is because now we're wrapping up playthroughs. It allows me to shuffle the schedule around a little bit and have some fun with it. So on Saturday, the main gameplay stream will be Lost Judgment. I'm actually going to do a 3+ hour long stream of Lost Judgment on Saturday to get more advancement in the game. Hopefully this will get us further into the plot. Maybe if we're stuck in school stories starting tonight, we'll get further into the school stories or whatever it may be. We'll have a longer stream and get a further chunk into the game, which I'm excited for. I really like Lost Judgment. I want to play more of it, okay? Then on Saturday night, it's going to be House of Ashes. I'm going to start up my second playthrough run. And this time around, I already played the game once. I'm going to try to keep everyone alive and do some major alternate choices. I'm hoping, depending on the choices that I make, that I could keep everyone alive and maybe see a better ending. Because my ending was decent, but certainly not great, with most of the characters passing away during the course of the game, right? Alrighty then. Then on Sunday, October 31st, it's the big Halloween Marathon event. I'm very excited for this, if you can't tell. Halloween Marathon, let's go, okay? I'll be in costume, 4 horror-themed games. 3 of them we already know. Original Silent Hill, Five Nights at Freddy's, Sister Location, and no, I'm not flipping you off by wiggling my middle finger, and Condemned Criminal Origins. The fourth game's a mystery game. I'm not telling you. I'm picking it. Okay? So 4 horror-themed games plus a live Feasting with the King. And with that Feasting with the King, you get the power to choose the cuisine. Right now, the poll is live right here on the channel, on the community tab. Right now, you can vote. The 3 cuisines that are the options are as follows. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. I can't wait to see what you pick. Yeah, right. No. The whole point of Feasting with the King is not crappy fast food, but that I try something out that normally I wouldn't eat. A cuisine style that maybe I'm not adjusted or accustomed to, something that I wouldn't have all the time. So the options are as follows. Filipino food, Thai food, and Mediterranean food. Now, as of yesterday, I know what everything was. However, let me go ahead and refresh. Okay. Fruito7 says, I like that you do face cam now. I'm glad that you like that I do face cam now. It doesn't really affect anything. People were asking for this for the longest time, and I said, fine, I don't care. We'll do it. So, currently, we have over 1,600 votes. Holy shit, that's a lot of votes within 24 hours. And currently, we have as follows. Thai food has 28% of the votes. Filipino food has 29% of the votes. And McDonald's has Mediterranean food has 43% of the votes. So out of these 3 cuisines so far, more people seem to want to see me try Mediterranean food. They've never seen me eat it before. What is Mediterranean food? Well, it includes cuisines from both Greece as well as the Middle East. Foods such as gyros, kebabs, shawarma, falafel, hummus, different kinds of Greek salads, things that have feta cheese and stuff in them. Personally, have I had this cuisine before? Yes. I've had the kebabs, and I've had, like, gyros. I've never really had anything like the other stuff. Like, I never had a lot of hummus. I've never had falafel at all. There's various things I could have off the menu that I've never eaten whatsoever. That could be original experiences, but I could also combine that with maybe something that I've already had before for a good variety of food. Okay? So, the point of Feasting with the King is we have a whole meal together. Multiple courses. I'll buy 2-3 things off the menu. In fact, on Sunday morning, live, we're going to order together. We're going to order the cuisine together off the menu and determine what I get. And then we're going to have a live feasting together. All right? So it should be exciting. Now, is Mediterranean a lock? No. It very well could be overturned. It's only about a 10% difference between the other 2 and Mediterranean. But you got to vote. All right? Please vote. If you have not voted, I strongly recommend you do, because your voice matters on my channel. Seriously, like, people don't understand the amount of impact they have in events like this. They just don't. They think, oh, it's not a big deal. Dude, 2,000 people are going to determine what hundreds of people see live and thousands of people will watch on demand afterward. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will watch these videos on YouTube, and just a small group of people control what people will be watching. So, please check it out, all right? Please check it out, and please vote, all right? So the Halloween event should be a special time. Now, after the Halloween event ends, I'm still here 3 more streaming days this week. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. All right? Now, the next major new release that I'm interested in, even though I know there's other new releases coming up, the major one I'm interested in is Forza Horizon 5, and that comes out on November 9th. The next new release I'm interested in after that is actually the GTA Collection, and that's on November 11th. I believe there's another game that comes out that day, too. I can't exactly remember what it is, and I don't think it's nearly as important, nor is it something that I was, like, locking into play. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's Shin Megami Tensei 5 comes out on the 12th. Again, that's a game I'm definitely not playing right now. I'm already in the midst of Lost Judgment, an RPG-style game. I'm not going to be doing Shin Megami Tensei right now. The next game after those is over a week later, Battlefield 2042, as well as Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes on November 19th. And after that, there's nothing I'm even interested in for the rest of the month. So, that being said, it sounds to me like we have some extra time, okay, where for this first week of November, essentially, I will have time to play a new game on the main streams. Because likely what I'll be doing, the daytime streams will be Far Cry 6, balanced with a new game. The night streams will be Lost Judgment, as well as the House of Ashes second run. That would be the variety of games that I'll be playing for this first week of November. Now, here's the question to present to you. Okay? Because it's a big question. And as I said many times, I know I can please some of the people all of the time, but there's no way I can please all of you all the time. All right? With only limited time to play a new game before the new releases hit in November that I know I'm going to be super excited for and you guys are going to want to see nonstop. What game do I play? We have two major options. Option number one, Metroid Dread, a game that came out a few weeks ago. I missed it because I was busy with too much other stuff. By all reports, it's a great game, a Metroidvania game, a return to Metroid's roots. Very much so. The game actually isn't very lengthy. Most people have beaten this game within 8 to 10 gameplay hours. But they're saying the game is basically a blast to play. It really is a throwback to classic Metroid. Although, a lot of people are criticizing it and saying, man, it's only 8 to 10 hours and it's full price. It really is kind of a ripoff that they're charging that much for such a short game. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. Am I interested in Metroid Dread? Yes. I absolutely have wanted to play Metroid Dread. But every single time, and I mean it, every single time I've played a Metroidvania style game on a stream, in videos on YouTube, it never works. People within the first hour to 2 hours say, man, this game is boring. Man, this game is repetitive. Man, it's the same thing. Maybe it's fun to play, but it's not fun to watch. I've heard that probably every single time that I played a Metroidvania game. No matter how interactive I try to be with you guys, people say it's boring and they don't like it, okay? And this is just everyone. I mean, we're talking as far back as games like the original Ori and the Blind Forest that I tried to play. I've tried to play indie-style games over the years. Even during marathons like the Halloween Marathon, we've had games that were Metroidvanias that are horror-themed and people didn't like them and complained, and I never went back to them. Even though I own them, I never went back to play them, okay? So that's why I'm kind of skeptical about this right now. Do I really want to be playing a game that maybe there'll be a very small, concentrated group of people who want to see, but my vast majority of my viewers will be like, meh, well, I'll come back on November 9th or 11th or whatever, right? I don't want that. I want people to be energized by a new game that I'm playing, especially if I'm going to be dropping full price for a new game. I want to be sure that I'm getting value out of it, not I'm playing this for, 50 people and no one's supporting the stream and no one likes it, right? Now, the other game that I can play is a game that came out today, a game that I originally was going to play, and then based on all the information that we saw in this game over the past few months, I said, man, I'm not playing it. It just doesn't look that good. The gameplay looks terrible. It looks grindy, and the graphics don't look so good. But the dialogue and story is interesting. So I was kind of intrigued, and I was like, will I play it? Will I not play it? And ultimately, after talking with you guys over the last week or two, we determined I shouldn't play it. Then all of a sudden, the reviews came out, and everyone says the game's pretty good. The game I'm talking about is Guardians of the Galaxy. All right? It really didn't look good. Seriously, it looked terrible. But people who've now played this game are like, nah, the early hour or two of gameplay is not that good. But basically, your abilities upgrade and stuff during the course of the game. The story is riveting and very interesting with funny writing. And it keeps you hooked. There's universe building where these characters get personalities and you care about them over the course of the game. And it actually is a really well-written, well-executed game by the time you finish it. Most people are giving it around an 8 out of 10, which is shocking. I thought this game would get like a 6 out of 10 based on what I saw. And apparently people are saying, no, it's actually quite good. Okay? So that being said, my friends, what do we play? I have until Monday to figure this out, because I think Monday is when I want to start up the new game. So the question is it going to be Metroid Dread, or is it going to be Guardians of the Galaxy? These are my two big options to weigh and balance over the course of this weekend. And I'll be taking in all of your feedback over the course of this weekend. Particularly likely, I'll ask you many times during the Halloween horror event what you want to see starting on Monday, and then we'll determine it and we'll figure it out, okay? Right now, it definitely looks like people in my stream chat are leaning towards Metroid Dread. If you're watching this video on demand on YouTube right now, leave a comment. What? Yes, leave a comment. Comments are on now. Did you know that? Comments are on my videos. You can leave comments on my videos if you want. I know. I haven't really talked about it that much. I mentioned it like a week ago. And some people freaked out about it. But yeah, you can leave comments on videos again. So do so. Leave a comment on this video and let me know what you think if you're watching this on demand. and we'll go from there. I'll take in all of your feedback. All the people on live stream seem to want Metroid Dread. That doesn't mean the people on YouTube want Metroid Dread. I mean, on demand on YouTube. So, I guess we'll see. Okay? See what people want. And then we'll go from there. There you go. Alrighty then. Cool. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this stream live right now, smash that like button. Just destroy it with your fingers. Use it. Just touch it like this. And your finger go right through your device that you're touching and destroy your device. Like this stream immediately, because that helps me tremendously. In reality, I don't think it helps at all. I'm serious. I actually don't think clicking like on a live stream helps at all. Unlike on Twitch, I don't think there's discoverability on live streams on YouTube at all. So it really doesn't matter if this stream gets 100 likes or 2. I don't think it affects it. If I left this stream on demand viewable, then maybe when it became a viewable on demand video, it might have helped it. But I don't think it helps. Like when the stream's live, I don't think it helps. And as you guys know, I record these streams into separate chunks to upload to separate videos. So I don't think it really helps. I guess what I could say is this. For those of you who watch the videos on demand, remember to like the video if you like it. That might actually help. I don't think liking the stream helps, though. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's the deal. This week is going to be a good variety of stuff. We've got concluding playthroughs when I get back from break. Continuing playthroughs with games like Far Cry, Lost Judgment, etc. We've got the second run of House of Ashes coming up. We're going to see what happens with Monkey Ball and determine if we want to continue it or not. The Halloween event on Sunday. And then next week, a new game as well. This is a very jam-packed, exciting week. So I hope that you guys will tune into the streams and check out the content. And obviously support the content if you can. It should be a pretty important week. This is the lead-in to the most exciting stuff of this gaming season. I mean it, because I actually feel this, and I feel strongly about this. Forza Horizon 5, the Grand Theft Auto Collection, and Halo Infinite, I think out of this whole gaming season are the games I'm most hyped for. At first it was Lost Judgment, and I am enjoying Lost Judgment quite a bit. But I think it's actually these next 3 games coming out that I'm the most excited for. Because Pokemon, not so much. Like a Pokemon remake, I know it'll be chill fun, but I'm not like super excited for that. But these other games are looking quite good. And Forza Horizon, some of the best graphics ever on a console. And plus, it's just ridiculous chill fun with a ton of content and great music. GTA, I mean, do we really have to talk about the GTA trilogy and how well regarded it is and how every time I play them, people get super excited and I love playing them. And then, of course, Halo. Halo looks like the best Halo game in, like, a decade. It really does. It looks like the best Halo game since, like, what was it, Reach? So I hope it really turns out well. So I'm excited. I hope you guys are too, all right? Now, outside of all of that, there's not really much else to talk about when it comes to maintenance of the streams or anything like that. I think I've covered everything. There's a few game news stories I want to talk about, then I'll do some plugs, then I'll do shout-outs, all right? Gaming news. Let's get to the gaming news. First of all, a follow-up on a game that I played much earlier this year that I was quite disappointed in. That would be Housemarque's Returnal. PS5 exclusive game, was supposed to be like one of the games you want to buy a PS5 for. And admittedly, there were some things in the game that were pretty interesting. I would argue that the graphics were some of the best I'd seen at that time, running at a beautiful 60 frames per second and really great lighting effects. And the controls were pretty interesting for a third-person shooter, with the haptics and the like. And the story, to some extent, was interesting. But what I felt was that about halfway through this game, it fell flat on its face for a couple reasons. Number one, they decided to make the game designed like a roguelike. And when they made it a roguelike, they made some interesting design decisions that I felt were terrible. And a lot of people agreed with me. The fact that you're playing through a run and literally almost nothing ever permanently unlocked during this game. There were a few exceptions of permanent things you would get. But for the most part, everything was specific to your one run. Okay? And the problem with that is the runs took a lot of time, especially when you realized, oh man, in order to really get a good build to take on, say, this boss that I need to beat, I need to go through at least 1 or 2 of the stages to get a bunch of power-ups. Okay? Now, some people say, oh, you don't need to do that, you could rush through it. You could rush through it, there were shortcuts or whatever. But then you would miss a lot of the interesting power-ups you needed to basically take on the boss. So, essentially, every run in Returnal, at a minimum, was around 90 minutes, But some of these runs would take upwards of 2 to 3 hours, depending on how hard it was and if you were near the end of the game or whatever. All right? The problem is when you're doing that much gameplay to get to the challenge you need to beat, and then you fail, you now feel deflated because you got to fucking start from the beginning to do it all over again. Now, I'm going to give you some perspective. Later on in the year, I played a game called Hades. Now, Hades was interesting because, guess what? Number one, Hades, most of the stuff you earned was permanently unlocked. Every time you did a run in Hades, you made some significant progress. Whether it was you got upgrade points to buy more things to improve your build permanently later, whether a major story element was unlocked during a run. No matter what, when you fail in Hades, you feel like you're making progress forward. The problem with Returnal was it didn't feel like that at all. 9 times out of 10, if you failed, you fucked yourself. And now it feels like you're actually like wasting your time playing the game. Like, oh man, I just wasted 2 hours of my time on a run that failed. That's not good. Gamers should not feel like when they're playing a game, they're wasting their time if they're not successful. Seriously. You should, I learned something or I earned an unlock, and it never really happened with Returnal very often. And the entire time that I was playing this game, I was complaining that the game doesn't let you save at all. Why is there no saving at all in the game? Why is it that if I only have 3 hours to play the game today, and I do an unsuccessful 95-minute run, now I don't have time to do a second run. I'll get to the end of my segment, and I can't play. I ran out of time, and you can't save your game to resume. Hades has that. Returnal did not. Okay? This was one of my major gripes about the game 6 months ago. There's no save game element at all. It's just, if you turn the game off, you're starting back from the beginning of the cycle, and you lose everything. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, as of this morning, Housemarque, which, by the way, I should call out a few things. Over the course of the year, Housemarque was praised massively for this game. Lots of people are saying Returnal is game of the year for them. Okay, I guess you played no other fucking games this year, seriously. And Housemarque was actually outright purchased by Sony and is now a Sony-owned development studio. Okay? So Housemarque, despite the fact that this game got massive criticism, and it wasn't just from me, the mainstream criticized the game, saying, why the hell is there no saving? This definitely could have benefited from this, okay? They still became insanely successful. The game sold very well. Do you want to know why I think it sold very well? Number one, marketing. And number two, PlayStation 5 exclusive. I feel that if this game was not on PS5 and was cross-platform or was only on Xbox, and if it didn't get the insane amount of marketing that it got, I don't feel this game would have sold nearly as well. I think this is a case where Sony wanted to push this as a game that it was really throwing to the forefront as the game you must play on PS5. You need a PS5 to play it. And it was in the right place at the right time. Because there really wasn't much else going on in the realm of PS5 games at the time either. You had Returnal. The month after that, you had Ratchet and Clank. And then what? There's been like almost no exclusives for PS5 this year. So really, it was one of the few games you could play exclusively on the console that justified your purchase of this console. So everyone bought it, you see. But as of today, ladies and gentlemen, you want some vindication for criticism. They added it. They added a fucking a suspend and resume feature. It's part of the game now. It's not even on. It's like it's now part of the game. They decided we will listen to criticism and we will add this into the game. It's 6 months too late to matter because most people who wanted to play Returnal already have, and I'm not going back to replay that fucking game, especially when I know the ending is fucking terrible. You know? There's no way I'm wasting my time playing that game again. Because honestly, I hate to say it, that's really what Returnal felt like to me. A grand waste of fucking time. It's a game that really is about 5 to 10 hours long. That takes about 30 hours to beat because there was no suspend feature. Now I get the feeling, because there's a suspend feature, that game will take way less to beat. You know what I mean? You won't have to force yourself to redo runs. So, if ever there was evidence that the criticism was valid, Housemarque listened to the criticism and said, okay, we'll do it. We'll change the game. The only other time in history that I can really remember this happening, in my 13 years as a content creator, way back when I was playing The Witcher 2, okay? When I played it, I had never played The Witcher 1, nor had I really played many RPGs of that style before, and the game was kicking my fucking ass. And I said to everyone, my God, this game really is not accessible to people who have never really been familiar with this style of game. I really feel like there should be maybe a mode where it's easier, or maybe early on the game should be easier and then up the difficulty later. Why the fuck is this game so hard from the get-go? It's actually not enjoyable until about halfway through. Then when you get about halfway through Witcher 2, you get all these cool abilities and you level up, and now the game's fun, but it feels like that first 10, 20 hours of Witcher 2 are a slog. It really feels like the game is just beating the shit out of you for no reason, like unnecessarily ganging up and beating the shit out of you. Okay? This I said, everyone beat me up when I said it. Everyone beat me up. Oh, Phil, it's just because you're a fucking nobody gamer who doesn't play this style of game. It's not your forte, and you're just a fucking, average Joe. You suck at games. That's why you don't like it. And then what happened? Within 1 year, CD Projekt Red said, oh, yeah, we kind of fucked up. This game's way too hard at the beginning. And they completely changed the game from start to finish, where the beginning game is much easier. The controls actually were changed completely to be more user-friendly. And now, like, the beginning of the game feels more like a tutorial where you ease in, and then the game feels like a slow progression of difficulty. They changed the whole game from the ground up to be more user-friendly. So that was really the only other time I can think in the 13 years I've been doing content where a game maker likely listened to the public reaction to their game and then changed it entirely, okay? But this is one, like, adding the resume feature, the suspend and resume to Returnal, is just a user-friendly feature. Not everyone has 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to sit down and play a game in one go. What if I only have an hour a night to play games? You can't play Returnal because you can't even get far enough in an hour. What the fuck is that? You see? So now this feature is going to allow more people accessibility to their game, which is great, but it should have been there from launch. It should have absolutely 100% been there at launch. The fact it wasn't there means that they were completely off base with gamers. How do you make a game and be so out of touch with the gamers you're making it for? I just don't understand it. But anyway, for any of you who maybe held off on playing Returnal because it didn't have this feature, it has it now. Okay? Another piece of gaming news to talk about this morning. As of last night, the new Nintendo Online subscription service has launched. You know, that subscription service that raises your annual cost from $20 to $50 in order to add Nintendo 64 and Genesis games and an Animal Crossing DLC, and that's it. Most people are saying this is definitely not a justified increase in cost. It doesn't make sense. So last night it launched, okay? And all the games that are included, people started playing them. Games like Mario Kart 64, I think it was Zelda Ocarina of Time, or was it Majora's Mask? It's one of those. So anyway, it launched, and people dove in head first. You know these Nintendo fanboys, they got to jump right in and fucking start playing every game and everything crazy, right? Well, basically what happened is people started diving into it and analyzing it on a technical level. And people realized, much like I pretty much figured would happen, Nintendo didn't put much effort into this. What they did is they have an emulator running. What a surprise. It's an emulator running ROMs. Ooh, you mean just like the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection? Yes. When you have no effort in something, you just buy an emulator from a third-party company and you have it run your ROMs instead of actually designing something to run a game properly. They just run a fucking emulator behind the scenes. So the emulator that Nintendo selected to run ROMs for this service is bad. The emulator that they chose is an emulator that's infamous for having issues, notably graphical problems. Like some games, they actually are doing side-by-side comparisons. Here's how Zelda looks on the actual N64 with its water effects and stuff. Okay, here's how it looks currently on the Switch with this emulator, and it looks like shit. There's no reflections, no transparency. It's like way worse graphics. Like, ridiculously bad. Then they actually showed people playing Mario Kart 64. The game chugs. The game basically slows down to a crawl, has frame drops, and it has major issues. Okay? So let me get this straight. You're telling me these games run better on hardware from the 1990s than they do on hardware from 2021. Yes, and Nintendo says, tough shit, pay us for it. Oh, now to make matters even worse, Nintendo didn't even think about what they were doing when they released these games. Allow me to explain. Some of these games, see, a lot of you need a little history lesson here. In the 1990s, the Nintendo 64 was one of the very few consoles that had internal storage on its cartridges, because it ran on cartridges. Most other game consoles, like PlayStation, Sega Saturn, then later Dreamcast, they all went to CDs, DVDs, whatever. But Nintendo was very stubborn, and they didn't go to that until GameCube. They wanted to keep cartridges. So you would store your save games on the cartridge, okay? You would need an expansion memory card like you needed on PlayStation to save your games, because it would all be stored on the cartridge. Problem with that was, it was outdated technology, and the storage capacity was small. So for certain games, guess what? You still had to buy a fucking memory card anyway, because it couldn't store the data on the cartridge properly. One of the games that infamously was a problem with this was Mario Kart 64. If you wanted to store the, what do they call them? The ghosts, which is basically when you store, a run in the game that's a really good run, and then you want to race against it to see if you can beat it later, you needed to have the expansion memory card. And I forget what it was called. It was like the N64 card or whatever. It was weird. It looked odd. It did. And you plugged it into the top of your controller. I remember it stuck out. It looked really gaudy and weird. And there was also an expansion pack for certain games. Like, wasn't it Majora's Mask and others? Like, so basically, there was a lot of different games that needed this expansion pack to be plugged into the N64. The N64 itself was an outdated console at release. I know that sounds weird. It was. It was actually already outdated. It should have been using CDs. It should have had more modern technology, but Nintendo was very stubborn. They had the falling out with Sony, and Sony went off to make the PlayStation themselves. Nintendo really wanted to keep using cartridges, and honestly, it was a bad decision. It really was. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because some games needed this expansion pack for features. So some of those games that need this expansion pack are in the games right now on the Switch in this Nintendo Online subscription, but Nintendo didn't bother to think about that, and there's no way to save features of the game. Right now, in Mario Kart 64 on the Switch, you cannot create ghosts in the game. There's no save. You go to do it, oh, sorry, there's insert your expansion pack. What the fuck? I'm playing on Switch. What are you talking about? Oh, well. And people are finding more and more of the games. This is happening. What the fuck? So they not only are they charging you way too much money for old games you've probably already played and have access to in other venues, they didn't even put all the features of the games into the game because they didn't think about it. They just threw an emulator on the console and said, thanks for nothing. So that's pretty funny to me that, like we all were saying, this seems like a silly cash grab that does not have value, and we get the feeling Nintendo's going to botch it. They did. 100%. 100% botched. Seriously. I don't know what win back is, Usagi Jojo. What's win back? I don't know what that means. He says win back cannot save games at all. I don't know what that means. But anyway, yeah, essentially, this is a complete botched launch. Half the games are running like shit. The graphics look worse. The frame rate's terrible. And then on top of that, some of these games you can't save properly and you can't do all the features of the games because they don't have expansion pack capability. But the question is, how many people will still buy it, right? How many people will still buy the higher level of Nintendo online subscription just for the sake of fucking giving Nintendo more money? Seriously. Winback is a Sega shooter Metal Gear ripoff on N64. Oh, I've never even heard of it. So I guess this is one of the games that's included in the past. You can't even save your game. There's no capability to do so. Great. Okay. One final thing I want to talk about today before we get to shout-outs and everything. There seems to be a growing consensus of, I don't want to say consensus, but a growing number of people who have an opinion that I think is the dumbest opinion I've ever heard, and I want to call it out this morning. In particular, there's a certain content creator who's, I guess, been saying this more and more on his particular streams, and people are now listening for good and bad reasons. So, Halo Infinite is coming out in December, okay? People have now had an opportunity to play the early version of the multiplayer. They say it's quite good, feels like some of the best Halo multiplayer in many, many years, and it's probably going to be fun and catch on. And now we just had the exclusive preview of the campaign. The campaign looks way improved from how it looked last year. The graphics are dramatically improved to the point where now it actually looks like a modern game. This game definitely needed the year delay. It absolutely needed it, and it seems like 343 Industries has really taken that year to do exactly what they needed to do. Refine the game, tweak it, make it feel like a modern game now, okay? So I'm very happy about that. But there are people out there who are like, they're just not convinced that Halo is going to be a good game or a game that's going to hold interest. In particular, one of the people who's been the most vocal critics of Halo has been Dr. Disrespect, okay? Now, here's what he's been saying, because I want to be fair here. I don't want to fucking completely turn this into a drama bullshit that it's not. He's not saying the game is going to be bad. What he's saying is, man, this game doesn't have Battle Royale. And because this game doesn't have Battle Royale, it very well may do well initially at launch, but within 3 weeks, this game is going to be dead and buried and no one's going to talk about it. Basically, this game will not be trending on Twitch anymore. This game will not be trending on YouTube. This game will release. It'll have initial hoopla, and everyone will play through the campaign and or play some of the multiplayer, but because it doesn't have Battle Royale, no one will be talking about this game in 3 weeks, okay? Now, people have reacted to this very differently. Some people have reacted and said, well, he's got a point. It seems like in the modern era, if you're releasing a game, a first-person shooter in particular, and you don't have this Battle Royale mode, it doesn't get longevity when it comes to content creation and social media presence. That basically any game that has Battle Royale, even if it's not so good, seems to have some kind of longevity because content creators keep playing it and viewers keep coming back to watch it. Okay? Okay, fair enough. And I will firsthand tell you, yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that Battle Royale, for some reason, it catches on. People seem to like people playing it. And it doesn't even matter what game. You know, PUBG, Apex Legends, Call of Duty. There's so many games that have Battle Royale that it just caught on. And it is, I almost feel like now Battle Royale is its own entity outside of other mainstream games. And what I mean by that is there are people who literally just watch Battle Royale. That's all they care about. That's really, they don't care about any other games. Just like sports games. There's some people, every year I come back and I play Madden, or every year I play NBA 2K, or every year I play FIFA. There's people who are like, all I care about is people playing the Battle Royale, and that's what I like to watch. And it's an entire group of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of viewers, who all they care about is Battle Royale, okay? I agree with Dr. Disrespect in that respect. I think that he has a point, that if your first-person shooter has a Battle Royale mode, you've already almost guaranteed that your game will have some length of longevity when it comes to streaming, content creation, and social media, that people will be abuzz about this game for an extended period of time because you have that mode, okay? However, and a big however here, okay? I don't think that every first-person shooter needs a Battle Royale mode to be successful, okay? I just don't believe that. I believe that it's, as they say, different strokes for different folks. Different people like different styles of games. Personally, I've played Battle Royale. I've enjoyed it. I've played some Battle Royale games like Black Ops 4 Blackout for incredibly extended periods of time. I played it for almost a full year, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. I understand the value of it, the fact that we can have interactive streams that have social value because we have conversation while I'm playing the Battle Royale. It's fun to watch someone do really trick shots and fun survival techniques in Battle Royale. And definitely there's a suspense aspect to it, right? You get down to the wire, the top 20 people, top 10 people. Oh my God, it's exciting. I absolutely will agree that Battle Royale has value and has a place in the gaming landscape. But it doesn't mean that your game needs Battle Royale to be successful. And I hate to say it, it seems like that's kind of what, even though he's not outright saying it, it seems like that's what Dr. Disrespect is almost alluding to. That Halo will have short-term success, but there's no way that game could possibly be good in the long run because there's no Battle Royale. All right? I hate to say this, but I think some content creators just get so kind of in their own tunnel vision situation of what they do that they don't see outside of the box of the realm of what they do. I used to be one of those people. I was. I liked certain styles of games. They worked for me. And because of that, I felt those games were the shit, and those were the games that everyone should be playing. And whenever anyone else brought up another genre of game that I wasn't interested in or didn't really work for me, I would crap all over it. I would. I'm being honest. I was like that back in the day. You know, you want to talk about 10 years ago. I was very, very stubborn, obstinate, and I refused to see outside of what was right in front of me working. And because of that, I basically crapped all up. People would say, hey, what about Minecraft? That's a kid's game. Who the fuck plays Minecraft, right? How wrong I was when I finally played Minecraft and realized what an amazing, awesome game it was, right? But this is what I mean. When you're riding a wave of success, you don't get to see outside perspectives because you think your shit doesn't stink, right? I was like that back in the day too, really. I was like that back in the day, and I get it. But I feel that when Dr. Disrespect says shit like this, he doesn't realize the influence he has. I mean that. I've said this before, I'll say it again. With great power comes great responsibility. When you have an insanely huge viewer base and an insanely huge following, you have to be responsible with what you say. So when you're repeatedly coming out and saying things like, oh, I don't think Halo's going to have any kind of long-term success because there's no Battle Royale. No. What you should say is, I don't think Halo will have success on my streams because it doesn't have Battle Royale. That's a very different statement from what he's saying. If you say, oh man, this would never work on my streams because we like Battle Royale and you guys love that content from me, that's what I put out, right? That would be like me saying, man, I just don't think Guilty Gear Strive has any kind of longevity because it just doesn't have the kind of footsies and gameplay that I'm used to for fighting games. That game's going to fail. After like 3 weeks, no one's going to care about it. What? No, absolutely not. Just because it's not a fighting game that I'm going to be good at and I would play and enjoy and would be good for my streams doesn't mean it's not a good game. It just means it's a game that's not for me. You understand? And I think that that's what he doesn't realize. When he says shit like this, people listen. He's got hundreds of thousands of people who watch his content who now will be like, oh, Halo sucks because it doesn't have Battle Royale, man. I'm not going to check that out. That's fucked up. That is misusing your power and your reach and you know what I mean? And he probably doesn't even realize it. Really, he probably doesn't even realize that doing that could hurt the game. He doesn't. And that's a shame because he's in a position, he's one of these people who's one of the most prominent content creators and streamers. And the fact that he just keeps going back to this, he even said, like, should we even play the campaign of this game? Like, I'll just brush it off. Should we even play it? It's one of the biggest campaigns, most interesting, most anticipated campaigns in gaming history at this point. This game has been through the ringer. The last 2 campaigns were not very good, and everyone's wondering if the campaign of this game is going to be good, because is it going to be Return to Form when Halo was good, or is it going to be another third shitty campaign and the game's going to crap the bed? If anything, that would be. I'm super excited to try the campaign to see how it turns out, right? He doesn't even care. Should we even play it? Nah. See what I mean? Like some people are just so into their own shit. They don't see outside of their scope of what's popular on their own streams. This guy could literally sit there and just play Battle Royale all day for the rest of his fucking life and probably make a living doing it. So he doesn't need to check out other stuff. Doesn't mean that he shouldn't, but he doesn't. You know, and because of that, now he's going to sit here and criticize other games because it doesn't have Battle Royale. Oh, man. Let me tell you something. Forza Horizon 5, that game sucks. There's no Battle Royale mode, man. Oh, what a shame. Dude, Pokemon, there's no Battle Royale. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying that Dr. Disrespect has to become a variety streamer. I just think that he has to really realize that he has to be more responsible with what he says. When I'm on social media and I see people talking about this and debating it, I'm like, this is because the guy literally said a comment on his stream. There's thousands of people now talking about it on the internet. That's the kind of shit I didn't realize back in the day, too. When I said dumb shit like that it would actually lead to discussions online that I never intended. Like, damn. So anyway, in my opinion, would Halo actually benefit from having a Battle Royale mode? Probably yes. Probably yes, it would. Does it need a Battle Royale mode? No. It could be successful without a Battle Royale mode. Maybe it won't have the ginormous viral presence of other games that have Battle Royale modes, but it definitely could find success without it. Not every game has to be. Here's the thing. Not every game has to be the same. Different strokes for different folks. There's different needs out there for gaming. Not everyone wants to play the same game 100 times. I don't need Battle Royale in every franchise I've ever played just because Dr. Disrespect wants to play it and get views on it. You see? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you in advance for any contributions today. As you know, I'm an independent content creator. I don't have any sponsorships or partnerships. I make a living being honest on stream with all of you guys every day because I don't have those things. I don't have to worry about, oh, I said the wrong thing. A sponsor dropped me today and shit like that. You know, when you watch my content, it's honest, it's truthful, and I'm giving you my full opinions on the games that I'm playing. But that being said, I don't have any supplementary income. You guys crowdfund my efforts to be an honest content creator, and I really appreciate that. Every day you guys come in the stream, chilling with me, having a good social experience, but also supporting the streams, whether it's becoming a channel member, doing super chats or super stickers, or tipping me. All those things help tremendously. Tipping obviously is the best way to contribute because I get those funds right away. I actually get more of a cut of when you send me a tip. We have reward goals in effect for tips, including Gunner glasses at $50 raised, wearing a hat at $100 raised, and a vest at $150 raised. So thank you in advance for any contributions today. Let's get the shout-outs. We start off with Nathan Smith, who did a super chat and says, more of a great game. Are you going to play the free DLC? I hope you have a great day. Are you talking about Far Cry? Because I was not aware that Far Cry has a free DLC. If you have more information on that, I'd be interested. If it's just like content that adds to the campaign of the game, then maybe I would consider it. If it's like more missions and shit, no. The game already has more than enough content for me. I don't really want to be adding even more to that. All right. Tips. We start off today with Horror News, who tipped me $1.50. Says, will you play Shadow Corridor or Ikai? Shadow Corridor just came out today for the Switch, and Ikai comes out in January. Both Japanese horror games that are like Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Will I play them now? No. Will I play them long term? Maybe. If they're on the Switch, I don't know. Just being honest, these games being on the Switch doesn't sell them for me. Like the Switch, we all know that Switch games, sadly, don't end up being some of the most graphically prominent. And with a horror game, you kind of want to have scares and stuff. And if I'm looking at a game that doesn't run so well, I don't know. I'm kind of crapping on the Switch right now. But to me, like first party games on the Switch, oh, I'm all for those. But when there's a Japanese horror game being ported to the Switch, I'm like, I don't know, man. I've never heard of these games either. I've seriously never heard of these games, so I guess I would have to look into it, but no, I have no plans on playing them right now. Snowcurl to me $1.50 says, I appreciate how you put out streams on a daily basis with dedication. I think your routine brings a ton of meaning and certainty to hundreds of people who watch it every day, and I hope you know this no matter what. Thank you, Snowcurl, for that very positive message. I really appreciate that. I hope we will not have any of the negativity from you that we had yesterday, because that was very, very disappointing. Really, it was. It was disappointing to hear that. Oh, God. There we go. It was disappointing to have that from you, and I hope that that doesn't happen again today. Rob on Wheels has tipped me $4.20. Says, how are you doing? Sending some money towards Yagami-san today. Awesome. So, Rob, I have some news for you. I know you've been here about a half an hour. I will be doing a major daytime stream of Lost Judgment this coming Saturday. I know you've said you were not able to attend my streams of Lost Judgment because they're in the middle of the night for you. Well, guess what? Saturday will be a major one. So you'll be able to swing by and watch it live, maybe. I don't know what your schedule is like Saturday, and I know this is kind of a change of pace here. So that's awesome. I hope I'll see you then. And thank you for the support for the Lost Judgment playthrough. I appreciate that. You are the top tipper so far of the day. Chicken Man tipped me $1.50 and says, stop the bus. You attacked the Doctor Disrespect about Halo. No, I did not. I did not attack him in any way, shape, or form. You just pre-streamed Chat Bash Among Us because it's a game you would never play. No, I did not. I said that Among Us would never have gotten the popularity that it ever had because if it was not played by celebrity-style gamers and viral streamers. I did actually not crap on Among Us at all. I don't even know much about the game because I've never played it. By the way, it's fun as hell with friends, and you bash a lot of games and call others idiots for playing them. No, I do not. You are wrong. Okay, ready? Wrong. On all three counts. Completely wrong. None of what you just said happened. But I appreciate you trying to cause drama, Chicken Man. Thank you for the tip. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we got people contradicting me, so you could get banned. Goodbye. Here we go. Since you're only here to cause drama, goodbye. And since you're here to only cause drama, goodbye. By the way, 2 new accounts who had never been on the streams before. What a shock. What? Oral Reef? Tip me $1.50. Says, what's your opinion on monarchies? What? I don't have an opinion on monarchies. I don't really even know what you're getting at there, but thank you for the tip. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a break, okay? I'm going to use the restroom. I recommend that you grab a drink or a snack, use the restroom yourselves. This won't be a super long break or anything. All right. When I come back, it is the continuation of Far Cry 6, a 3-hour chill stream. I hope you will relax with me, have some fun conversation, and have a good time. All right? Sound good? That's that. Thank you, guys. I shall return shortly. Far Cry 6. Thanks. Awesome.